Welcome to This Yellow Farmhouse, a podcast by me, Dayna Dyer, a knitting designer and cozy living blogger from an 1834 farmhouse in Illinois. I'm a mom of 3 girls and a cinnamon roll enthusiast with a case of the cozies. This Yellow Farmhouse is for my fellow lovers of all things cozy and for those seeking a simpler, slow life. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Farmhouse Knitting Podcast. I'm your host, Dayna, and I'm coming to you guys from my farmhouse in northern Illinois in the woods that's currently very covered in snow. I mean, we're pretty buried. I'm a mom of 3 girls, and they are no longer under 5. I have now a 5-year-old. So I'm a mom of 3 girls under 6. Is that what I say now? So welcome to the podcast. This is a knitting and slow living, cozy living podcast. And if you're new, then welcome. And if you are returning, then welcome back. Thank you guys so much for coming back. I love hanging out with you guys. So how was your week? Well, first of all, happy Valentine's Day. This, assuming our country Wi-Fi works, this episode is going to go out the day before Valentine's Day. But we'll see. Our Wi-Fi is terrible. If you have seen the past episodes or follow me on Instagram, you know that we have really bad Wi-Fi and we can't get satellite or anything like that because we are in the woods. And even though we're at the top of a hill, we get basically nothing. So I actually upload my videos when I go do my grocery shopping or if we go to like a library pickup. So yes, how was your week? Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow, unless it's Sunday. Or if you're watching this later, then I hope you had a good Valentine's Day. Now I'm rambling. So first of all, I mentioned the weather. We had, let me think, about a week ago, we had maybe 8 inches on the ground of snow. And then we had another snowstorm that was another 10 inches. And then I think we've gotten a couple since. So the snow is now done, but we're going into freezing temps this week. So yeah, we shoveled as well as we could, and we put salt all over our walkways, but it's gonna get really icy because everything was covered in snow, and then the temperatures are supposed to go to like -1 without like wind chill and all that. So this coming week, it's supposed to get cold, and yeah, hopefully we are okay on our walkways. So our house is actually, we think around 1834. We'll just say 1830s because there might have been a house fire of when this house was first built. Based on what we were reading, what we were told, sounds like their first year of living here might have had a house fire. So might be 1835. We don't know for sure. And we never probably will know for sure because they had horrible records back then here in the US. So, yeah, why was I saying that? Oh, our walkways. Okay, so our walkways are like stone paths, but it's really uneven. Our front porch is stone and it's also really uneven. So shoveling is so hard to do, and because you're not just shoveling on concrete or like a brick driveway or something that's nice and level. It's very bumpy, and shovels don't do the trick. Our snow blower that my husband got off Craigslist is already not working, so he's hoping for next winter he'll be able to get like a snow blowing attachment on his tractor, but honestly I think it's still going to be a little dicey until we can maybe eventually like resurface with concrete. But we're all pretty wimpy with the cold, so we're very indoorsy. So I am drinking, I will not spill my coffee this time. Last time I was spilling my tea. I'm drinking today my Dunkin' Donuts, what was it called? Cinnamon coffee roll coffee. Which if you know me, I'm obsessed with cinnamon rolls. It's like in every other picture that I post on Instagram with my knitting. And so yeah, cinnamon coffee roll. I got the little K-cups. I splurged. I don't usually get that. I get like the ground coffee grounds. And yeah, so I got this K-cup of this kind, and it's actually really good. Oh, okay. Also, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I also got a coffee creamer that's Cocoa Pebbles coffee creamer, and it is so good. So I was inspired by my friend Josie at Peony Knits because she was talking about how she had found Fruity Pebbles of coffee creamer, and we were like, this is the weirdest thing ever. First of all, it tastes really weird, and I haven't tried it. She said it was really weird. So then I was like, well, we need to have something, someone needs to make a coffee creamer that's just chocolate and really good, and I found it. And it's Cocoa Pebbles, you guys, Cocoa Pebbles. So if you're looking for a good coffee creamer, I think I got it at Meijer, which is just like a chain store here in Illinois, but I'm sure you could find it at any of the other big grocery stores. So, random tidbit, thank you Josie for even making me look. I always go to like my regular coffee creamers, but I was like, I wonder what else is out there. I need to find something. And I was so excited to find chocolate. My phone's blinking at me now and says I have like 10 seconds. So I'm gonna pause. I'm going to get my whips and my finished objects to show you guys and a couple other cozy goodies, and I'll be right back. All right, so for a little bit of farmhouse chat, I first want to say I'm going to try to do a shorter episode once a week. So I have been doing every other week. I'm going to try to do a shorter episode once a week. The reason being, I want to have a little bit of a smaller file that I have to upload, because last time I had to walk around the store and wander the gift department of Meijer for a good 45 minutes to upload my video, and then it got to 95% and it restarted, and I was like, this isn't okay. I've got to go feed my baby. So I'm gonna do a shorter episode, keep it around 30 minutes hopefully, and then I will see how that goes. And like I said, I'm gonna try to do it once a week so that you guys are still getting as much cozy content and coziness in your lives. And yes, so shorter episodes more often. Okay, what else? Oh, okay. Okay, so also I am ordering some yarn today, and I've also been like diving through my stash of yarn that I'm planning to use for a special secret project that is coming hopefully like October, November, that I'm working on right now. So if you watched last episode, I kind of made an announcement of something that I'm working on behind the scenes, and that is, you can listen to episode 10 for a little bit more about that, but it's basically a pattern collection meets cozy knitting magazine. And so yeah, I'm casting on some of the bigger pieces that I'm working on for that, because it gets really hot in the summer and I won't want to work on it then. So working on that. Another thing to watch for is, as you can see, my yarn is missing today. This yarn hutch is usually full of yarn, and I pulled it all out. I am actually working on a yarn hutch makeover video, which I'm really excited about, and I've done everything else. I've filmed all the bits of talking about it and going through and taking all the stuff out. Now I'm working on decorating, so I'm waiting for a couple things to come in the mail that are going to be used in the decoration. So if you're watching this afterwards, after Valentine's Day and everything, I'll put that link also in the description. So if you're like, why is she recording in front of a blank hutch? I mean, that's a little cold and not so cozy. That's why. It's currently under construction. I should have had a sign up there that says under construction on like my letterboard. But yes, so my makeover video will be there hopefully soon. Like I said, I was gonna DIY a couple more things that I'm just going to actually find for really cheap, because a lot of these DIY projects are wood projects that were gonna go in there that I don't know how to do, and my husband is really working hard to finish up our chimney, because when the snow is going away, we need to work on our chicken coop because we're getting chickens. So I didn't want to add to his list, and truth be told, I really want the chimney done because we're like walking around pretty much demo construction site every day when we're going from the living room to the dining room to the kitchen. So was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to Amazon. I'm gonna make it easy on myself. And so yes, watch for that video. I will also put it in the link below. I'll put the link in the description below. And then if you follow me on Instagram or are on the email list, you'll know when that is up and ready and good to go. I'm so excited. It was actually a really good excuse for me to, one, spring clean my yarn, because I'm actually really embarrassed at how much yarn was seriously stuffed in there, like avalanche whenever I opened the doors. And so much of it I wasn't using. Like, I've cast on a lot of projects since we've lived here a year and a half. And I thought I had downsized my yarn when we moved. And then I saw what was lurking under there and I was like, this is bad. I'm never gonna use this all. So it inspired me to go shopping through my own collection again. And also I'm gonna decorate it for spring. So it kind of was very, well, first it was Christmassy and then wintry, and now it's gonna be springy. So spring cleaned my yarn and I'm gonna decorate it for spring too. So long explanation for why I have an empty hutch behind me. Okay, on to what is giving me, and I have yarn fuzzies all over now because this was a whole project. A whole project that I worked on yesterday was taking all the yarn out. So yarn fuzzies are everywhere. Okay, what's giving me a case of the cozies today is my Hygge car. Yeah, I know, it's weird, right? I was actually inspired by this because I had read a blog post about why and kind of how you should Hygge your car, whether it's for winter or any season. But specifically, I was thinking winter. Now, we're not going as many places as we normally do, for obvious reasons, but when we do go places, so my girls actually just started up some activities. They are in ballet and swim lessons, and they're really excited about both of those. So 2 days a week we are doing activities plus play dates, and with my sister and her kids. And so we are in the car a decent amount. And then also, like, for example, today we went for a road trip. Not a road trip. We went to get out of the house because we were getting a little bit of cabin fever, but it's so cold. We don't want to go out. I don't want to go outside in the snow and freeze my butt off all the time. So we went for a car ride, and I was really glad that I had taken some time to kind of rethink how my car works inside. So what that looks like for winter specifically is I have a heated car blanket that just like plugs into the cigarette lighter. It's amazing. It's so warm and it heats up so fast. I remember years ago when I was a nanny and I had to leave the house at like, I think I left at like 6 a.m. because we had to get there. It took a while to get there. I had to get there before they were going to leave for work and like add in their commute time. So I had to get there early for like however old I was, 21-year-old. And I froze in the summer because this was in Michigan and it was cold. And so I remember always telling myself, like, someone needs to invent a heated blanket. How has this not happened yet for your car? So now here we are 10 years later, and it exists. And I honestly don't know what brand I have because it was a gift from my mom, but if I can find that out, I will put it in the link too. So I wish I could have a candle in my car, but I don't. So I use any kind of little pluggy thing that I can get my hands on. Right now, I think the brand is Yankee Candle, and it's Christmas Cookie or something like that. I should have written all these things down that were in my car. But the point is, what makes a cozy corner or like a cozy nook in your house cozy to you, and how can you bring that to your car? And so for me, like I said, I wish I could have a candle. So the next best thing is something else that's a really good, yummy, tasty scent, and blankets and lotion. I realized how much I wanted lotion in my house or in my car, because when you're going in and out of the car, I don't wear gloves, and I should, but when you're doing so many car seat buckles and stuff, it's really hard to wear gloves and take them on and off and do all that. So I don't wear gloves as often as I should, and so my hands get so dry. well, I don't think about it until when I'm at home later, also running around doing stuff with the kids. So I end up doing lotion like as the last thing I do before bed, but my hands still get really dry and cracked all day long, and it's never easy, cause bad reason, but a lot of times I'm like, I don't want to put lotion on because I'm about to knit, or other reasons like I'm about to wash the dishes, or just kids are awake and you never know what you're gonna need help with. You can't have like slippery lotion fingers. So having lotion in my car, I never realized how much I needed, and it's really good. It's I think that the scent is just called Comfort, and it's from Bath and Body Works, and it's also probably like 2 seasons old, or 2 like fall seasons. I'm pretty sure it was fall. Also from my mom, and but yeah, having a cozy car is giving me a case of the cozies right now. Oh, and also my knitting projects. So one of the projects that I'm going to show you today has been my car knitting project for the past 5 years. It is a baby blanket that I was working on for my oldest, who just already turned 5. And I had this project, I'll talk more about it in a minute when I show it, but I had it in my car because I was like, there are a lot of car moments, like waiting in line or waiting for food to be brought to you from like a fast food like Culver's or something, or you're just headed somewhere like my parents' house and realize I didn't bring anything to knit, which is a tragedy because you have grandparents there who can help with the kids and you might actually have a few minutes to knit. So yeah, car knitting projects that I actually never, that's probably why it took 5 years, but I actually never took it out of my car because I was always like, oh, I want to have a backup project for if I run into these situations where I didn't pack specific knitting stuff. So that's also making my car very cozy, but now I finished it. So I actually have one of my whips to show you, which will be my new car project, and hopefully it doesn't take another 5 years. Okay, so my first project that I'm going to show you that I finished up is my former car knitting project. And it's a very simple garter stitch blanket. From the yarn is Homespun. And truly, I don't even know what the color is because, like I said, this is 5 years old. So, oh my gosh, it's so soft and squishy. And I used to actually not like knitting with homespun because if you've knit with homespun, you realize, or you know that as you're knitting, the yarn just like twists and twists like crazy. So you have to knit with kind of a looser gauge. You can't pull tight on it at all. So it's kind of hard to do anything that's a really good, like a really specific gauged project, at least for me, I noticed. So I was really excited to do a blanket with it and just kind of have it be the size it was going to turn out. Okay, so the story behind this blanket is that when I was expecting, so this would actually be almost 6 years ago, because if she's 5 and I was pregnant, I had found out I was having a girl. My sister also was pregnant with a girl. We were due 2 weeks apart. It was both of our first, and they were actually born 3 days apart. But we haven't gone in a few years, probably 2 years now, or maybe 3 years now. We used to go on a girls' knitting trip to a house in Indiana that is a house of my aunt's friends, or yeah, I think her friends, and sometimes people would go there to hunt, and then we would just go there to knit. And so on this particular year, when I was pregnant with my first, I thought I packed enough yarn for a weekend away in Indiana. And this house it was really cute. It's like in the middle of the woods, truly like the middle of nowhere. And especially at the time I was living in the suburbs, and it really felt like a getaway, whereas now we are in the woods. It's not quite as rural as this Indiana house is. But so, story goes, I packed my stuff. I didn't pack enough yarn to finish this, and I kind of wasn't inspired yet. I knew we were having a girl, but I wasn't really inspired on colors for her room or anything like that. And so I wasn't really sure what to pack for knitting. So I brought a lot of little projects and more for me projects. And then I also brought this blanket. Now, I didn't bring the second skein. So this used 2 skeins of homespun. I only brought 1 skein. And I thought there's no way with the other projects I'm working on and stuff, there's no way that I'm going to get through this. Like, I'll have so much to knit. It'll be great. Turns out I did have enough to knit, but while I was there and just like knitting with my sister for 2 days straight, who was also pregnant, and she was really excited. I was excited too, but she was really into like the baby knitting and being with my mom, who's about to be a grandma again, and her sister. It was like suddenly like baby fever. Like I want to knit all the things for the baby. And I ran out of yarn for this blanket, and I didn't bring a second skein, but we were actually going to go for a car ride. So when we go there, we usually would go for car rides. Sometimes have been to go see like covered bridges that are really cool. Some really cool like the Amish country, which is really pretty. Well, we did do all that, but we also found a yarn store, and I don't actually know where it was. It was sort of a bigger town in Indiana, but it was a drive to get there. So anyway, we went to a yarn store, and then we went to like just like a general store that had some yarn in an aisle, and I ended up finding, I think it was like Bernat baby blanket yarn that was also, I think it was in a pink. So I ended up getting that because I was like, okay, I don't have enough yarn to finish this. I didn't know what else I wanted to knit for the baby, so, and I also wanted it to be something really easy because when we're in Indiana, we would be talking, and I didn't want to have to be like, okay, now I have to think and like cast on something new. So I ended up getting the yarn for casting on another blanket. I finished that one like right away. Meanwhile, this one sat, and I didn't ever get a chance to finish it. No, it's kind of neglected. It became my car knitting project, and I pulled it out and I asked her if she still liked it, and she liked the colors, and she did, and so I was inspired, and so 2 days of crazy knitting it, I finished what would be the second half of this blanket. So I think I just had kind of scratched that itch of making a baby blanket where I was like, okay, I finished the pink one. The purple one's kind of on the back burner, you know. So it didn't become a priority anymore, and now I'm so excited that it's done. I actually, I finished it last night, and I set it out on the couch, kind of wrapped around a few of her stuffed animals, and she came down this morning and saw it, and she was so excited. So I'm glad that that's finished. It feels good to finish something, like to see that you didn't waste anything. Like I literally went till the end of the skein, and I know that rarely happens, but to know that you're not getting rid of like a perfectly good project or extra skein or anything like that. So I think that is my only finished object. I'm working, like I said, on pulling more from my yarn stash here. Well, not here anymore, but I just noticed that I wasn't using my yarn because I didn't know where it was. It was seriously like 3 layers deep in there, and then I also had 3 yarn tubs under our bed, like 3 storage tubs of yarn under my bed, and that does me no good when I'm looking for a project because I don't know, I didn't know when I had like 3 skeins of something, or maybe there's 2 more under the bed or something like that. So I ended up just taking the easy way out, and I would just get new yarn for something instead of actually shopping through my stash. So that was the inspiration behind that. And so that's what I'm going to work on doing and be better about. Okay, on to my whips. I am actually, so the purple blanket was for my oldest. So I finally am starting one for my middle child. And she really likes this kind of purpley pinky, also homespun, that I just started this morning. So here's the purple. I don't know if it's going to pick that up. So sort of different different but the same enough that sisters will be okay with it. If you have daughters, then you know that there's always some competition of knowing that it's kind of fair but also kind of different. So I'm really excited to do this one. Similar story. Well, not similar story, but I did make a baby blanket for my middle child when she was born. I did a really big, chunky cable knit one with purple, I think also Bernat baby blanket. Am I saying that right? I think also with that Bernat baby blanket yarn. And so she has a baby blanket that I made. She has one that my mom made. She has one that my aunt made. So she's also going to get a homespun one. Because the story behind the homespun ones are, my very first blanket that I ever knit is a hot mess, and it was one that I wanted to knit for my husband. It has like random ridges where I knit where I should have purled one side and purled. It's got like, it's definitely my first project, and he loves it. We still have it. So he has a green one. I made myself a blue one. I want to say the color was something like mermaid. And these are all homespun. So now my oldest has one, my middle one has this one going, and then I'll have to make one for our baby. So, like I said, this is just today's worth of progress, and I am actually really excited. I just ordered a progress, what are they even called? Progress keepers. I've never had one before, but I figured if I'm showing you guys my progress on my projects, I should have a little progress keeper, so even if I show you something, you're like, oh, okay, she did work on it, even though it doesn't look like she worked on it. Two other things that one I'm not going to show because I truly haven't really worked on it. It's the Ho-He Simple Socks. Yeah, I'm pretty much stuck on the heel. I need to be able to think while I do the heel, and I haven't had any good thinking knitting time. It's all been garter stitch projects, which is great because I actually just binged two things. I binged Virgin River and Bridgerton, both on Netflix, and oh my gosh, both of them were really good. One of them is, if you need it, you really will need to fast forward through some parts. Don't watch with kids around, but otherwise I like period dramas, and so Bridgerton was really good. And Virgin River, I just kept seeing come up about being just like a cozy small town feel, kind of like Gilmore Girls, and it is. But there's also some like mystery and suspense around it. So just finished those. So my whips are all garter stitch projects this week. So yeah, I have not done anything new on the Ho-He socks yet. But another project I had showed before and gave the story about in, I think, episode 10 is my Cara sweater from We Are Knitters. I also think it's going to turn out bigger than it should, because basically I knit the whole sweater and I tore it all out, but with this wave wool, I think tearing it out and then re-knitting it is making it like a little bit looser of like a spin. I'm not a yarn spinner, so I don't know the terms, but it just seems like the yarn's a little thicker and looser than it should be, and I'm using the same size needle, so I think my gauge is a little bit big right now. So anyway, I have my back panel done, and I'm about halfway through the front panel, which will be a V-neck, but when I hold it up, it's still kind of big. So it's that really pretty wave wool, and I'm actually okay with it being a little big. I decided I was going to knit the smallest size. I typically wear small or medium. It depends on like the brand and the measurements and stuff, but if I'm knitting kind of big, apparently, I decided I'm going to do small, and it'll still be a little baggy, but it'll be good with some leggings or something like that. So that is the progress on my Cara sweater. And then I have one more whip to show you guys before I'll show you four goodies that I got in the mail that I'm really excited about. And yeah, I'll show you guys those in just a minute. All right, this is one that I'm very excited about. Since I took all my yarn out, I don't know where the back panel is, or is it the front panel? This is the back panel. The front panel is still on my needles. I think it's in our room. So I will show you one side of them. You knit two sides. They're completely identical, and then I'll knit the sleeves. This is the Campfire sweater by Darling J'adore. J'adore? I don't know French, but I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Oh my gosh. Okay, anything by them is beautiful. They have really pretty patterns, especially of sweaters. So I really was excited to get this on and off the needles. So what I'm using is, I don't have a full skein of it with its label, but what I'm using is the Knit Picks Tuff Puff in bark. And so this is one of the panels. Let's see if I can hold it up to you guys. Ignore my ends that I haven't done anything with yet. So it's very cute. It has just the bottom, it has some ribbing, and like I said, it's two panels, identical. This you have to bind off the edges, and then these center stitches are still live because, similar to the cable or the ribbing on the bottom, I'm going to do that for, I think it's 2 rows up at the top, so the neck will be a little more finished than that. And I really like it. I was not sure because I think I'm using a size 13 needle, and when I was gauging it was kind of big, but then when I switched to size 11 it was excuse me, it was way too small. So I was like, okay, well, I knit really loose, so I tried gauging with the size 11s really loose, like even looser than I normally do apparently, and it was still too small. So I was like, okay, well, I'm knitting the size small. I don't want to make the gauge too small and then make the sweater be too small. So I ended up I'm doing the size small, but I'm using the 13 needles, and my tension is actually tight. Like, for me, it feels tight. I was a little nervous that it was going to be too tight and rigid, but when I'm looking at the pictures and also doing this, do you guys ever do this with your projects? And just squish them. I'm realizing that it's not as thick as I was worried it was going to be. I got halfway through the first panel and I was so afraid I was going to have to tear it out. Like, maybe this isn't the right yarn for it. But I'm really excited. I think it's going to be good. So that is my new work in progress that I haven't shared with you guys, and I'm so excited for. It's very cute. It's cute on the model. We'll see how it is once I finish and try it on me and everything. So I'm excited. Okay, I do have a couple cozy things to show you that I got in the mail. 3 of them are my Candelles order that they just launched their winter collection, and this is a candle. I'll show you it. That is actually called, oh, it's gonna be backwards, sorry. It's called Candelles. It's Candelles, and they have the best candles. My absolute favorite ever is Getaway, and I've talked about it and I've taken pictures about it here, and that has the cinnamon bark and orange zest, bayberries, cranberries in it. So that's one that I always want to get, and that wasn't part of their winter collection. That's like considered a classic, I guess. 2 new ones that I've never tried yet that were part of their winter collection are Mahogany Shea, which is almond shea, coconut, sandalwood, cedar, and tonka, and it's glorious. And then the next one is Blackberry Sage. So this one is blackberry, raspberry, plum, white sage, violet, and clover. So these 2 are part of the winter collection that they just launched a week or 2 ago. And so this is actually their petite size. They usually have a bigger size candle. Something about, they posted on Instagram about just like jar availability with the warehouse and wherever they were getting them from. They haven't heard from wherever they were getting them when they're going to get the bigger size. I think they call it standard size. So all they have available right now are considered their petite ones, which is a 9-ounce jar. It takes me a while to go through, and I use candles a lot. So I'm really excited to have gotten those. I am down to like this much left in my cabin Getaway original one that I have in the kitchen. I have like this much left of a hot chocolate and cream, I think it is. Hot chocolate and cream, which is Bath and Body Works, and it's in our room. And so I really didn't have any candles left, which is sad. So yeah, I was really excited that that finally came because, not finally, they had just launched the collection, but I was so excited because I was following their Instagram stories of like their countdown, so I was ready. Okay, my last thing I wanted to show you guys that I got in the mail that is extremely cozy. I mean, it's stuff that I'm interested in learning about. I had kind of talked about really wanting to learn about candle making and soap making and stuff like that, body scrubs, at the start of the year. Maybe it was the end of 2020. So my husband got me a subscription to Willow and Sage magazine, and this is my second issue. It's a lot of essential oils, which I have no experience in, and it's just like gorgeous and beautiful, like DIY home and bath products and stuff. So this is called, I wanted to show you this because this is so cute. This is called Chamomile and Lavender Lotion Bars. I mean, these things are so, first of all, this magazine, if you have read Bella Grace, it's by the same company that puts out Bella Grace. So the magazine is like a book and it's beautiful. And I really want to learn how to do all this stuff. I mean, like, oh my gosh. Okay, so this is to seal, it's called, yeah, it's gorgeous. Just gorgeous. So anyway, even though I don't know how to make these things yet, it was really on my like wish list and goals list that I was going to learn how to, or at least practice how to do it. And I'm excited that I have these because even though, I don't know what I just did, I just gave myself like a beard. Even though, like I said, even though I don't know what to do yet, they are like books and they're references. And once I figure out a little bit more how to do some of these things, I'm really excited to have that collection. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look at this gift wrap. That is gorgeous. That is darn pretty. Okay, I could get lost in this and I'm not going to. I'm going to finish up the next segments of this podcast are going to be in the slow knitting style. And I see that I'm over 30 minutes. This was supposed to be a little bit shorter. So it'll just be a few minutes of the slow knitting style. I'm going to show you, well, I'm going to talk about a look out my window. I got Jode and Homebody in the Wild, tell a quick story about that that hopefully you guys will like. So thank you guys for watching this part of the podcast. I'll see you. Bring your knitting, I'll have mine, and we'll knit and chat together. So I was recently a homebody in the wild, as I occasionally am, and I was grocery shopping. And okay, so I kind of talked about this. I had to upload a video and grocery shop all at once. So I was gone for about 3 hours on Friday night because we were going to do something Saturday morning with my family. That's usually when I would grocery shop. And so I had to go Friday night, and I had hoped that it would be pretty like empty at the grocery stores. Surprisingly, it was not. And I was kind of bummed because I didn't want to be out shopping, especially on a Friday night. I'm the kind of person who, like, in the evening, and especially like once my husband's home from work, I really don't want to go back out. I'd rather stay at home and be cozy and like watch something on TV with him. So the idea of going back out wasn't a great one. Wasn't one I was loving anyway, but I knew we had to get groceries, especially since I was shopping, or I am shopping every 2 weeks. And so we were like really on the bare bones for the last couple days. So I was like part excited because we were gonna have a full pantry again and not be like living on little bits of leftovers and stuff like that, you know, I don't know. So anyway, I really didn't want to go out, but I did, and I was out for 3 hours. It was a long shopping trip, and I got my video uploaded. Well, almost. It got to 95%, and then it restarted, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I can't do this. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why I wanted to make this one a little shorter, but then I get rambling and it just happens. But I just like hang out with you guys. So, yeah, I ended up wandering around a little bit extra. I was like, at least this. My husband knew I was going to be out for probably most of the evening. He's probably watching videos about how to fix his tractor on YouTube. And like, it's not like somebody needs me right now. This is kind of his time, and it was kind of my time, which, first of all, I feel like it's kind of crazy. I was trying to explain to him that running errands and grocery shopping is like quiet time, kind of, but it's not like me time for wives or moms or anything like that. It doesn't count because you're technically still working. You're doing stuff for your entire family. You're serving your family, and it's not like I was out at Joann's yarn shopping for 3 hours, which would have been lovely, but I wasn't. So, like I said, I had to kind of circle around again and wander, and then this time it actually went so much faster, so I don't know what the deal was. What was taking so long for it to upload? I don't know. I would think it wouldn't make a difference, but at one point my phone was in my purse, and then I moved it to my coat pocket, because I don't want to walk around with like the phone out like, coming through, I gotta upload my video, because I'm also shopping, and I don't want to be annoying to other shoppers too. But, so this time it went a lot faster, and I just kind of had to wander the gift shop, or the gift wrap area. I was wandering a little bit by kind of the beauty area, which I don't usually do. And so I ended up getting this charcoal mask, and it's that like Biore brand, and I ended up doing it when I got home. I was like, that was exhausting, and that was a marathon of shopping. So that was my Homebody in the Wild story, and like I said, I went out and did my thing, but then I came home and I was ready to be a homebody right away again. And I think I've decided that we're gonna stick with the every 2 weeks of shopping, but I'm gonna go back to grocery pickup, and yeah, because I don't want to be going. The problem was I actually went to 3 stores because I had to get a certain kind of a certain kind of diapers from Aldi, and then I went to Trader Joe's for some stuff, and then I went to Myers for some stuff. So I'm going to do a pickup for everything, and then Trader Joe's will be kind of like this is my for fun going out to buy special treasures shopping. So yeah, I think I needed to simplify that and just slow down my shopping. Okay, a quick look outside my window because I hear the baby waking up. I kind of already talked about this, but we had gotten 8 inches and then another 10 inches of snow. And so everything's covered, and now it's actually snowing a little bit again, and it's supposed to turn to freezing temperatures, like -1, not even wind chill. So that's pretty cold for us here in Illinois, and everything's just kind of gonna turn into a frozen tundra for a little bit. And so I'll be inside. I'm not going outside in this, that's for sure. So I'll be inside daydreaming. My husband started some seeds, which I'll talk about probably in another 2 weeks or so, about seed starting indoors, because I think we're homebodies, but I think we're ready for some more sunshine and being able to get outside. So yeah, he started some seeds in the sunroom that he'll eventually move to under the grow lights in our basement. And yeah, so there's not much else going on outside our window other than just a lot of snow. And once again, I got Jode. I always do. I got Jode because I got 3 jars of salsa when I went to Trader Joe's last time. And that is because I ran out of salsa from my last 2-week trip. And I didn't want to run out of salsa again. I have a salsa obsession. I like to put it on chicken, and I do nachos, and we do tacos and all that stuff. So I ended up getting 3 jars because I was like, well, we're using it. So we are specifically doing a market garden this year, full of mostly the things that we are going to use very often. And my husband likes to experiment on new kinds of things that maybe he hasn't tried before. Whereas I'm kind of like, well, let's use what works. We want to be able to have some stuff to store. We want stuff for salsa. And I'm realizing now more than ever that we might need a lot of stuff for salsa because I go through apparently a jar per week. So yeah, I'm gonna need a really good recipe also. We do can a little bit. My husband knows more about it than me, but we need a good salsa recipe so that I don't have to go get Jode and get 3 jars of salsa every other week, because it's a little excessive, but it is used. It's not like I'm buying all this salsa and then tossing half of it. So that is all I have for you guys for this episode. It was supposed to be a short one. It's probably not. We'll see once I go through and edit out me making goofy faces or going off on some weird tangent, which for episode 10 I limited. I pretty much made it as is, and I even had some bloopers at the end, and you guys seemed to like it. I think there were a lot of really nice comments about how you liked seeing me for once, and yeah, so I thought I would try doing it again like that this time. But yeah, so that's all I have for this episode. I will, again, like I said, hopefully be able to upload another one next week, and that will be kind of the intro, I guess, for me to spring and spring knitting. So I'm excited for that one. Like I said, I'm pretty much ready to move on from this cold, freezing tundra that we are currently in. So thank you guys for watching another episode, and yeah, stay cozy, stay warm if you're getting snow. I'll see you guys next week.